All right, we're live. Eastern Outdoors, Tuesday Night Live. Mike and Josh is here, November the 7th. What Boone and Crockett says is the second best day, or maybe tied for first, best day to kill a huge buck. Mike, Josh, how you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. How are you, buddy?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Josh, how are you?
Excellent.
I'm great, man. I'm literally itching at the bits
Your
for
bits itching?
it. I don't. I
Hmm?
don't. I'm itching to get out on Saturday morning.
I'm just confused on what's itching and why.
Well, you don't worry about that. You just worry that I'm gonna kill a big buck this week.
Josh's bits are itching.
Itching, itching.
I get it.
Jimmy Carroll says, hello, brothers, sisters, nieces, and nephews.
How's it
How we
going,
doing,
Jimmy?
Jim? Anthony Jones is here.
Are
Anthony
you?
changed his profile picture a couple weeks ago. I noticed he did have his guitar in there. Dwayne Best, 4 deer on the board for Dwayne Best this year.
I know we'll be
What a
talking about
guy.
it a lot tonight, Mike. But are you as excited as I am about Saturday? It looks like
Yeah,
Mark's frozen.
yeah, I'm super pumped, man. I'm real excited. There's a stand that I really specifically want to hunt, and I think it's gonna be a great gun stand because there's a just where it's located. There's kind of like a big long path, almost like a little bit of a logging road down one end, and then
Yep.
behind is a bunch of acorns, and there's tons of deer poop behind the stand. And then to the left of the stand is a big hardwoods that leads down to a creek. So I think bucks are going to be cruising. And then kind of to the right of the stand is a cedar thicket. So it's literally transition. There's all kinds of different things that deer like to go. And there's also kind of a fence row where they like to curl around and go through that fence row. And it
Yeah,
looks like a
my
really good
area is
spot.
kind of I'm not I'm getting does a lot in my corn, but the bucks, man, they're definitely cruising. I got a camera down on a scrape line, and it's between bedding area and the feed site, man. And there's been a trail there all year. I remember sending you all a picture of just the trail, like when I was scouting. And anytime I see bucks, that's where they're at, and they're
Yeah.
just constantly going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it's time. It is time, dude. I'm
Jimmy
pumped.
It
Carroll's
is
ready
time.
to go. Jimmy's been texting me. He's ready to go. He's got a plan. Saturday, he's going after 2 deer, a buck and a doe. Christian said he missed his split brow tine buck Sunday morning. And go get him, Christian. You got plenty of time. Let's see here.
Yeah, yeah. He texted me, and it, it always hurts when it's a buck of that caliber that you shared. But it happens, man. It happens to everybody, and it certainly happens if you've been hunting long enough. So
Mm-hmm.
you just get back out there. That means he's still out there. You can still get out there, and there's a good chance, especially if there's a lot of does in the area, that he'll come back. Especially right now, you can get away with making a mistake. So it's that's probably our best bet
You
right
know,
now.
I don't even want to talk about that, just because when I bow hunt, there's always that thought in my mind that it's like, man, I hope I don't mess this up. But when I have a gun, I'm very, very, very confident, and I don't want any negative thoughts in my head for the rest of this week. No thoughts of missing, no thoughts of messing up. Just, dude, I can't. I seriously, I literally check my phone like every 5 minutes to see if I'm getting pictures. Dude, it's driving me crazy. Driving me.
Josh, where you sit, you won't be missing any shots. You're going to be really close to those deer, where you sit, and then where you've got them pegged. I mean, you're not going to be taking any long shots. You're
Pro-
pretty much going to give them a judo trap.
the problem for Josh is the bucks he's wanting to kill aren't there anymore. They're not coming around.
Well, that's not necessarily true.
Mm.
That 13 pointer came through 2 nights ago, so he's definitely still around.
Someone said, John, it's over. Andy. I'm guessing they're saying Andy Bashir. We do have not a new governor, but another 4 years of Andy Bashir. The governor election has been called. Another 4 years of Andy. How's everybody feel about that? Just wondering. Just wondering. Bub, is Bub on here? That might be Bub. Here's the deal. Andy won a lot of Eastern Kentucky. A lot that he didn't win last time. So anyway, just throwing that out there if you guys want to comment on our governor. 8-year
Yeah,
guy?
I don't really want to comment. I just hope he keeps his grubby little hands out of the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife.
I saw my Northern
see with
Kentucky. It's really Northern Kentucky's fault. Northern Kentucky used to be all red, and now they're all blue.
Yeah, I'm not. So
Not you're all orange.
I did my part, and I went early. So
I went today. Man, listen, it's been a long day. Josh is on here. He's a little mouthy tonight. I'm letting it go because I had to wake up this morning. Well, actually, I didn't wake up. I was up all night last night, and I've got a big hole back here now because I had a back tooth pulled this morning. And I'm afraid if I talk too much, I'll get like dry socket. You ever had that?
Hey, that's great news for me and great news for the fans watching because we don't have to listen to your mouth.
First of all, it's not fans. We're not fans. It's
listen. I don't think before I talk, so they know exactly what I mean. There's no correction needed.
Well, why don't we see what they're saying? We got a lot. Loman is here. Loman missed a big 150-inch buck on. Hey, that's what I want to ask everyone. Who got to quota hunt this weekend? So we'll start with Loman. We'll kick it off with Loman's quota hunt. He was at Big Rivers WMA, which probably produces more big bucks than any WMA we have. And he said he had a 150-inch deer come in, and he freaked out a little bit, I think, got a little nervous and missed it with a rifle. So there you go. There's Loman's quota hunt story.
That happens, man.
Who got to quota hunt this weekend? I talked to a few different guys that actually reached out to me about some different WMAs to hunt. I sent them some pins, and a couple of them had replied that they got a deer. I think they both killed does. I just gave 3 more guys, Mike, pins of where we hunted during turkey camp. And then today I gave another guy pins to Kentucky River. So if you need pins, just hit me up. And most of them produce. So
how dare you, John, share public land spots?
You're burning your spot.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
If someone wants to go hunt public land, I'm all for helping them.
Me too.
I'm not a great hunter, but I've hunted a lot of places.
Hey,
Eastern to Western Kentucky. So I will not share the pins publicly. I won't put them out there in comments and stuff. But if you send me a message, so there was a guy in a Kentucky public land hunting group who was like, he was wanting to hunt. I think he said something like he lost his lease. He was wanting to gun hunt public land, and he was in Lexington. So I commented and I said, if you want some pins around Cave Run Lake, message me. So then another guy said, I wouldn't mind to have some pins around Cave Run Lake, and he messaged me. And then another guy messaged me and said, hey, I'd like to have some pins around Cave Run Lake. So I gave them all pins. So I love doing that, man.
Good for you, man. That's what we're supposed to do as outdoorsmen, help each other.
Yeah. Now, if Mike gives me a spot, let's say Mike goes to Curtis Lloyd, we're up near his house. He's like, dude, I found this spot. I put in time, been scouting it, blah, blah, blah. And he sends me a pin to that spot just to check on the map. I'm not going to give his spot away.
Sure.
Right? But I'll give mine away. I don't care.
Well, yeah. What's up, WO? I sent a comment. Christian said that he missed his with a crossbow, and it made me think. I seen this video earlier, and man, I just thought it was crazy. I think one of you all sent me a video a while back of this podcast. It might have been in the group chat about this podcast, and they just thought they were very arrogant. It might have been the same guys, and they had this guy on, and they were like, he was
crossbows,
and he said, here's the issue with crossbows. He said, if you have a legitimate issue, and you can't,
you're elderly, or you're a kid,
or you can't use a compound, do it. But if you use a crossbow, he compares it to men playing women's sports.
Yeah, he did.
And I just wanted to say that he'll never watch this, but if he ever did, piss on you, dude. That's what
he said. That he said if an able-bodied man uses a crossbow, it's like men who pretend they're women and participate in women's sports.
Yep.
Which is
I wonder if he's gun hunting this weekend.
Exactly.
Good
so
question.
dumb.
There you go.
So dumb.
What happened?
He's using
what
a
do you say?
recurve.
What do you say when there's somebody that does it all? Like one weekend you grab a crossbow, the next weekend you grab your compound.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well,
That
it's
makes
like
zero
when
sense.
I think when we put that picture out of those 3 small deer, which we don't care, and 2 of them were killed with a crossbow. Actually, you 2 are the one who killed them with crossbows.
Indeed.
And someone sent me a guy that we've actually unfortunately had to block from the page because he just won't leave people alone. I mean, I seriously had a woman reach out and was like, "This guy's harassing me. I'm just a mom, and he's trying to tell me what a bluegill, the difference in a bluegill and a red ear is." And I'm like, "I'm sorry."
No, I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Block.
that's a true story too. Anyway, somebody sent me a screenshot of he replied to someone's message or comment and said that you guys left your compounds at home and brought the crossbows just so it would be easier to kill something so we could get more likes and follows. So stupid. Anyway, that's just dumb. But yeah, I did see that. What does everyone think? Do we have people in here watching right now who are just, here's the deal. It's okay if you don't like crossbows. It's okay even if you think crossbows should be a separate season. It's okay if you never use a crossbow. Just don't criticize people who do, right? Because we're on the same team. So I just want to know, do we have people in here who are adamantly against using crossbows?
I just don't
I just want to
understand
know why.
that. I don't understand the hatred of it. Like what is the big deal about someone else that goes out and one guy, I think somebody commented or something, had a perfect explanation. His crossbow was much cheaper than these $1,200 compound bows.
Some of them are.
You
A
know,
lot of crossbows aren't.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but it's like
I mean, also
I
just
don't
say
understand why look down on somebody because they use I don't understand it. I don't get it. I never will. I don't get it.
Well, I mean, I think there's a couple people you said
Hey,
we've
Daniel,
got
what's up?
Hey, Daniel, how's it going?
Daniel said we are his uncolored brothers.
What's up, brother?
I'll take it,
What's
Dan.
going on, man?
Hey, what if you just think across when I was growing up? This is way before I ever thought about hunting. I was a huge G.I. Joe fan. Did you ever play with G.I. Joes?
Yeah, all the time.
Dude, loved them.
More of those
And
things
one
out.
of my G.I. Joes had a crossbow. And I wanted a crossbow since I just loved it. I thought it was the coolest weapon. And so I just think they're cool. Now, if I'm hunting, I'm more comfortable with my compound. I've shot it a lot, like 1,000 times more. I'm more comfortable with it. But I'll gladly shoot. I don't care. I'll gladly shoot the crossbow. I just don't know why people get
there's a comment right here. John Gray said he's been hunting with a crossbow for the last 8 years, and he said he's disabled. And it is great that Kentucky has, they allow people that are disabled to use crossbows.
Yes.
But John, I don't think you should have to say that you're disabled at all. I think you should just be able to say, "Hey, I use a crossbow," and that's the end of it. Because people shouldn't be shaming people for it. If you want to use a crossbow, use a crossbow.
Bub has a great point. He said, "I've seen the same video. They also said on the same podcast that if you shoot a crossbow, it automatically means you're getting a 150-inch deer. So I got me a crossbow."
He also said later on, he said that if crossbow was was killing so many more deer, then why have we seen an increase in harvest numbers?
Say that again.
He said, here, I'll just read it to you. Let me go up. Hold on.
Bub said it?
Yep. I can't go up for some reason. He said that if crossbows made such a big difference in harvesting deer, why haven't we seen harvest numbers go up?
Oh. Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
it's a fun conversation.
It is a fun conversation.
Yeah.
I think what we see sometimes is like the people that are really against it are the same people that are like, I'm never, ever, ever sharing a pin on public land ever because you don't deserve it. I've done this, I've done that, me. I've done all the work. I'm not going to give it to you because you need to work for it. You're not worthy of it because you need to work for it. It's just kind of the people that think they're entitled, and they don't want to help others.
Isn't it wild the amount of folks that hunt public land and think it's theirs?
Their spot, my spot,
That's
mine.
my deer. That's my spot. I work for it. You have no right to it. It's literally public land. If someone wants to go out there and hike, they can. It's public land.
Oh,
there's some of them you can. I mean, Clay WMA. Listen, I'm not a big fan. I love Clay WMA. I'm not a big fan of sharing trails with horses and all those people with horses out there. But they have just as much rights. We've talked before, the 2 times where I've been on public land and guys come in with dogs. I don't want those dogs essentially, potentially chasing the deer that I'm hunting right there the same day I'm hunting. But those dogs and those hunters have just as much right. So the superiority of I'm a better hunter than you because I only hunt public land and I walk farther and I find more beds and I shoot better, I'm more of a pure hunter and all this. It's just old. I just hate it. Like
the people that we're talking about here though, and I just thought of this too. I don't remember if it was the same podcast or a different one, but
the podcast.
This situation is
the podcast. Let me say this, and then you finish. The podcast you're talking about is also the same podcast. I think it's called Hunter without an E.
That's it.
HUNTR. And it's actually a good podcast. Like those guys I like them.
This may have been them. I can't remember.
I honestly don't even know their views because I've not listened. I just see the clips. They're also the guys that had Matt Ranella on there, Steve Ranella's brother.
Yeah.
Who thinks we have too many hunters.
Yeah.
And who thinks people like the hunting public and his brother Steve are ruining hunting when I think they're growing it. And just from the arguments within the hunting community shows you that, there's every year we're at risk of losing something, right? I mean, every year there's something. Sorry, John, but I hate their podcast.
People that were
so PK said he hates. PK says he hates their podcast. I've only seen the clips. I just don't want to talk bad about those guys because I don't know them at all.
So PK, I think, was the one.
People who don't know us at all paint us in a picture, and they've really never even had a conversation with us. So I don't want to do those guys that way.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah, absolutely. But and I don't know if it was their podcast or not. That what I'm about to tell you, but the people that we're dealing with here is the same guys that when I listened to the clip, and like I said, I don't know if it was the same guys or not, but they were defending themselves as private land hunters. And they were talking about how their property backed up against public land and that they were just as good hunters as public land hunters because their deer were pressured just as much as the public land because they were it was just a bee fest is all it was. Yeah. It was ridiculous, man.
There's a lot of boys who can shave in hunting. Right. They just whine and complain and groan. Even 50, even from the 18-year-old hot shot that knows everything, which I give those guys a break. They're young and dumb. We all were. To the 50-something-year-old who thinks he knows everything, there's just so many childish personalities that I just don't care for.
Oh, yeah.
Greg said, John, did you go to Fort Knox this past weekend? Greg, I actually went to Fort Knox on Monday. To turn in all my stuff that I needed to turn in. I was going to check out one of the units there, and I couldn't figure out how to get there. So I had a road on the map that I thought was going to take me to that unit. Mike, I've not talked to you about this. And I got to the road, and there were some signs up that said restricted. It didn't say I couldn't go through there. It was just it had I don't remember exactly what it said. So I made me a little nervous about going through there. And then at the same time, I was looking at where that road came out at, and it came out at the river, but there wasn't a bridge. So it didn't matter anyway. So I was I didn't have time to stay, so I just came on home. But I will be going back on this Friday, hunting half a day Friday, all day Saturday, and at least half a day Sunday, maybe all day Sunday. And then I'll be back there the following Friday, half a day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. So I've got, what is that? 2 full days and 2 half days. I'm going to be hunting out there the next 2 weekends, Greg. So hopefully it goes well.
Casey Sparks, he sent me a picture this morning. He just commented and said shot one of his target bucks this morning. He's feeling blessed. Congratulations, man.
Yes,
Send John a picture of your buck, and we'll show it here at the end of the show.
Let's see here.
I just had a buddy shoot
fires in Harlan, Bell, and Letcher. Here's the thing: there are fires on the mountain, and we're praying that gets slowed down and no houses, it doesn't reach houses and communities. And if that happens, that's great, because next year that's going to be great habitat.
Yeah,
all that's going to be great habitat. That's where
as long as they can keep that under control, that can be
as long as it don't get wild,
right? And it looks like they're doing a good job of it. Loman said he's scouting for some friends from out of town this week. Loman had an interesting story. Apparently, I don't remember what public land it was, but like you were saying, Mike or Josh, one of you, it backed up to private, and the landowner had taken, like, I don't know, let's say 10 acres of it and kind of made it his own and put out signs.
That's illegal.
Put out no trespassing signs on it, I think. I don't know all the details. Loman can correct me. I think Loman said he was like, if there was a scrape on that side of it, which was public land, that he was trying to claim as his private land, he was covering it up with leaves and things like that. So Loman has been on top of that. So big shout out, clap for Loman for ruining that guy's unlawful actions there, trying to claim public land as his own.
Everything I've seen Loman do here over the last year, I can truly say Loman's the man.
He's a good dude.
Loman is the man.
Let's see. This guy says the same people against crossbows will pick up a rifle this weekend. They also shoot 75-pound draw, 350 feet per second compound, which is true. Compounds nowadays are not, I mean, they're pretty easy. You can routinely kill a deer at 50 yards with the compound if you practice. I know some people wouldn't do that, but I watched an episode of Meat Eater, and I think that the girl on there killed I don't know how far it was, but it was a long shot. She killed a moose at a very long distance.
Well, we'll just say it's very, very possible to kill a deer at 50 yards with a compound.
Yeah.
Easily.
If you make a good shot, it's lethal. I mean, it's fatal. So let's not pretend. Let's not virtue signal. Let's not pretend that just because you're using a compound only and you're doing something, you're special. You're not.
Right.
You're not. Gary says we have several fires in East Tennessee. We desperately need some rain. That's a big thing. Is we do need rain. I don't know if any's in the forecast. I don't know.
Western Kentucky's showing rain tomorrow, I think. 40% chance.
Let's see. Philip Botley says right near Pikeville. I think he's talking about maybe the fires too. Philip and I have been talking. I introduced him to a buddy of mine who elk hunted, and they exchanged. Another guy that, like I said, sharing pins with. They exchanged pins to help Philip. He's got a cow tag here, second week of rifle, I believe. Philip will be in Harlan hunting or somewhere in that area hunting. And so hopefully that works out. There was a reason I was saying that. I don't remember. Somebody messaged me and I forgot. Anyway, this person says they're going to Pennsylvania a few days. It's Bub. Bub is on fire tonight, man. He's just commenting. He's killed a Kentucky buck, Ohio buck. Now he's going for a Pennsylvania buck.
Nice.
Go do it, man.
He was posted, man.
Yeah. Speaking of Pike County, somebody mentioned Pike County earlier before Philip did. Man, they've killed some big bucks over there in Pike County. That Logan Tackett that we just posted the other day, he killed a really nice wide buck. There was another big one killed over there. I don't remember whose it was. And then that Mark Elkins buck. Did everybody see that?
That was nuts.
If you've not seen the Mark Elkins buck, it's like a lot of people called it a unicorn buck because it had one brow tine. I don't know if you'd even call it a brow tine, Mike. I don't know. But it's like coming out from top of its left eyebrow, just straight up. And I don't know what that buck would measure, but it is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a wild deer, man.
Yeah. Josh Sears says next weekend supposed to rain in Fort Knox. Mike, I already told my family I'm coming in for what's so funny?
Fort Knox. It always rains in Fort Knox, man.
Oh.
It's like the freaking rainforest. So it's Doug Clayton. He's probably listening and watching with us, and we always, anytime we go to Knox, it seems like we're either preparing for torrential rain or all kinds of crazy stuff. So
yeah,
when he said that, it just made me laugh because it seems like that always happens.
I already told my family, we're going into Harlem for Thanksgiving. And I said, look, if I don't kill a buck the 18th and 19th at Fort Knox, I'm leaving Friday after Thanksgiving and going back.
Let's go
with the Collins crew.
There we go.
And the Claytons.
There we go.
And Mike just informed me, Doug, if you're watching, I think you're on here. I asked Mike before we went live. I said, Mike, do you know anything about this certain unit? And I gave him the number in Fort Knox because I'm thinking about going there. And he said, why would you go there? And I said, well, I heard it's good. And what'd you say, Mike?
My uncles, and Doug, you'll know the area that they want to go to.
He said y'all thought y'all was keeping it a secret, but I discovered
apparently he actually came up with it. I didn't give it away because
Mike did not tell me. He was like, Michael, I don't think Michael was even going to tell me because he's like, well, what made you say that?
That's because I've already been threatened.
Sorry, Uncle Don and
Uncle Don and Uncle Darren, they'll thump me.
I'll be there. Here's the thing, I'll be there this weekend, Mike.
Yeah, you'll get the early scout on them.
I'm gonna be there this weekend. I'm gonna be there 2 weekends before them. So sorry, Collins crew.
Check it out. Now there's a lot of good areas we enjoy going to, and if that's what's fun about Knox, and especially guys like Doug and Uncle Don and my dad and Uncle Darren, they've all been to Knox for years and years and years. They've been in all kinds of areas. So it's cool. That's what's really neat place to hunt down there.
So yeah, I can't wait to go. I can't wait to get there this weekend. So Loman says basically there's about 10 acres on Peabody being claimed by private landowners. Loman, now that you say Peabody, I'm going to send you, Loman, when I get off here, I'm going to send you a screenshot of an area that I hunted, or actually PK and I were going to hunt last year, and it was showing on Onyx as public, but it was posted as private, and we ran into some other hunters that were going over there and like, man, you can't hunt there. It's posted as private. So we're like, well, maybe the map is wrong. And we looked on Fish and Wildlife, but I think Fish and Wildlife had it as private as well. So I don't know. But anyway, Loman, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to find out about that. But Loman says 10 acres on Peabody claimed by private landowners. Not a lot of our friends, there's not a lot our friends could do at Fish and Wildlife because they were unsure of the property. I grew up with 40 years hunting these properties. I found Fish and Wildlife survey markers. Now I'm going to see if the neighbors stole timber off public land. So anyway, Loman says that they're trying to keep that 10 acres of public land as theirs on private. And if they're doing that, I hope Loman brings justice swiftly. It rolls downhill. Justice.
Drop the hammer.
Doug Clayton says a certain person's uncle will have his hide. Hey, it was me. It was me. It was all me. And I can. And actually, the reason I knew about this unit is because a friend of mine told me about it and showed me a picture of a deer that was killed on it. And Doug, now you just go back and tell your friends that this unit belongs to me.
The one thing they told me is, don't you go on your show and tell everybody where we're hunting.
No, he won't do that. He didn't even tell me. I'm the one who brought.
He won't tell us.
No.
Hey, I'm following directions of my uncles because I don't want to get my butt whooped.
So you're just following orders.
Here's Al from YouTube. Al says, "Fellow gun guys, cool." Al, you're on with about 50 something fellow gun guys. He says, "I carry a Glock 17 9mm concealable. Is that good self defense and home defense?" Sure.
Well, yeah, I'd say so.
You can
Josh, you're
shoot
a
it.
Glock guy.
I love Glocks. Glock 17 is great. I can light it up with a Glock 17. Glock 17 is perfect for self-defense. Perfect.
Joe Carter says, "What's everyone seeing on camera?"
Not much for me.
I'm seeing it's been a mix-up, man. Some of my big bucks, well, specifically only one of my target bucks has came in. He comes in at night around 2:00, and he's not like he came into my feed site and he treated it like a scrape. He went into my corn pile, he paused, he urinated down his tarsal glands, and then he walked off. He didn't touch the food. He just done his business in it and treated it like a scrape and kept walking. And then I seen him one other time. It was the same night. He went across the property to where a scrape was. He hit it and he left. But other than that, I've had some small bucks every day come in the morning. I mean, daylight hours, they're always coming in. It's just between, I would say, 5:30 and 8, and then right at last lot, and then during the nighttime they're coming in. But the does are still showing up. Not as much in the daytime as they were, but they're still showing up. So the way I'm trying to look at it is, if the girls are around, the boys are coming around. It's gonna.
So I could tell you what's on camera, or I could just show you what's on camera, and there, right there, my friend.
Wow.
Look at that sucker.
2 dandies right there.
Look at that sucker. Sent by our friend WO, who put down a nice deer. I don't know if he is. I don't know what the date on here is. Is this one the deer WO put down?
Maybe.
Oh yeah, because this is October the 3rd. Yeah.
Anthony Jones said bucks are just walking up and checking the area and leaving. Mine's the same way, man. They're cruising. Whether I either see them hit a scrape really quick, or they're passing through. Like where my camera's at, it's down a trail, and I can literally see, like, my camera will go off. I can't even tell how big of a buck it is because they're pretty far away. But I will see them walk up the hill to the top of the ridge. They'll cross over, go past another camera where my feed sight's at, and then they're gone. So they're literally just coming through, scent checking, seeing what's going on in the area, and they're gone. So hopefully
Wilson,
this weekend the does will be going into heat and estrus will be in the air.
This is a good question, a good discussion. I want everyone. Josh and Mike have been talking about this in our group chat, and I want to hear everyone else's opinions. Josh Wilson says, anyone rattling this weekend? Is it still a little early? Let's throw in, are you rattling? Are you grunting? How often? How aggressively? What's your cadence? What are you doing? Any type of calling in deer. It's November 7th. It's not, we're probably still a week away from like peak rut, but we're there, and it's a prime time to kill a buck. Are you grunting? Are you snort wheezing? Are you rattling? Tell us in the comments, Mike. I don't want to answer for you. So, if you were in the tree today, would you have been doing any of that?
Yeah, I rattled
this weekend. We'll say this weekend.
I hunted on Sunday and I rattled a little bit.
Okay.
Nothing happened. Didn't see anything after doing that. But yeah. So I didn't get real aggressive with it. It was November 5th, I guess it was. So I wasn't super aggressive. Just kind of. And I have the black rack, so I have the two where it's got the rack on the top and the rack on the bottom when you just kind of hit them together. So basically, what I was doing, I was just kind of using the tines, and I was just kind of working back and forth, clanking them a little bit, keeping it soft, and then every once in a while I'd kind of give it a smack, kind of just smash together once or twice, tickle again, and then kind of end it with a couple grunts afterwards.
Okay.
Kept it light.
Let's see what people are saying here.
Go
Scott Butler says, "Sup?
Sup, Scott?
Late. I was wondering where Northern Kentucky crew is. Mark and Scott. Mark, I was talking. I wasn't talking bad about the Bengals, but Mark Lilly, I think, got offended that I said Zach Taylor was not a good coach and they're never going to Super Bowl with him. So if Mark got his little feelings hurt, I'm sorry, Mark. You're welcome on the show. I figure Scott was just having his second dinner, is why he wasn't on here. Let's see. Doug said he would suggest areas in the 30s. That's why I'm not going there. I think he's trying to trick us.
Actually, no. We hunted in 33. It was a while back ago at this point, but a guy in our group killed a 145 deer in there. It was a nice buck.
I don't know. I think you're on their side, Mike.
My
Trenton
dad-
says deer movement has slowed down. We were talking about grunting and calling.
In 33, when we were walking in that morning, my dad ducked his head. He had his flashlight on, but he ducked his head, and then he came back up, and a stick went all the way down into his ear, and it touched his eardrum. It hurt.
That sucks.
Yeah, he was really. He still has problems with that ear to this day.
Yep. Damon Lewis, he's got a comment here, and it's something I wish I knew more about, but I know very little about. I'm trying to pull it up.
It's on there. All right, stop clicking. We were both clicking.
Sorry. Go ahead.
There you go.
There it is. On the 13th, moonrise will be around 7. Daylight travel will get good for about 8 to 10 days. Be setting in the afternoon on the 7th. So, that is something that I know very little about when it comes. I've tried to pay more attention to it. When I see more movement, whether it's like a full moon or half moon or whatever, I've kind of paid more attention to that this year. But I just don't understand. Like he's saying that moonrise will be at 7 on the 13th. How does that, and maybe one of you can explain that to me, how does that affect them moving more during the day? Like how does that work exactly?
Go ahead, Mike. Jump in.
I don't know. I'm not an expert on that.
I have no idea.
Where's Kyle?
While people are chiming in, you kind of jumped ahead. This person, I don't know, maybe that's Bub, said this week, going back to the are you rattling, are you grunting, are you snort wheezing, which I think I sent you guys a really cool video for Buck snort wheezing.
Yeah.
I should have downloaded that and shared it. This person says prime week for rattling. Joe says no rattling. Jimmy says I'll have a grunt call with me. Will you use it, Jim? Christian says I will be using grunts 1 an hour, so light grunts. I grunted a small 6 on Sunday. He wasn't phased and just walked off. Chris is doing all the above. Steve Powell, light rattling and intermittent grunts. I would take that for every hour, maybe half hour. That was Scott again. Buck I harvested last Wednesday was going away from me. I grunted. He stopped, made a scrape, and turned and came straight to the tree I was in. Well, there you go. Let's see. Any other for grunt? Someone said they were voting for Andy. I just saw someone say that. Well, I ain't gonna say that on here out loud. Let's see. The new go back to right before it drops off into the big holler. Oh, he's Doug's still caught up. Doug's still trying to divert
Doug,
me.
that's where you saw. That's where you saw a nice buck back that way on 33.
Mike, but Doug is trying to divert me from where I'm going the next 2 weeks. I know what he's doing. He's like, yeah, go to the 30s. Go back to this holler. Find that ridge.
If you were talking to my uncles right now, they would, but Doug would not do that.
No,
Doug's being legit.
Doug might as well be Doug Collins. He's in tight, and he's trying to divert me. It's not working, Doug. I'm not falling for it.
Doug wouldn't do that to you. I promise you, he wouldn't.
This person says the new moon with the cold front is fire. Okay. Moon phases have no effect on deer movement. You said it. That's what the studies show. I'm not saying they do or don't. That's just what the science says. MSU, Deer Labs, and those things, they say that.
I don't know.
Usually, if I say that, I have no credibility. So I don't know. We'll see.
Going back to rattling though, I will say I know some people said they would rattle, some said they wouldn't, but I think it was on Saturday. I recorded it on my phone at 8:01. I recorded that I rattled, not aggressively, but it was definitely, I don't know, it was just a good rattle, I guess you should say. I don't know how to explain it, but I rattled, and then after I rattled, I hit a few grunt calls, and then I think it was like 8:05. It was either an 8 or a 9-pointer. I mean, I had him at like 20 yards, just didn't shoot, didn't have really even a good shot, but ended up coming in looking for, the bucks that were fighting. So I think it's different across the state. I don't think it's the same. Like, I've tried rattling before. That is the first time I have ever rattled a buck in. I've never had any luck with it. I've tried it. It's never worked. I literally rattled. I grunted. He came right in. He was looking to fight with them. So he came straight in, went straight to the scrape I was hunting. He freshened up the scrape. He tore that tree apart, and then he started prancing around like he was something else, getting after it. So I can tell you in Western Kentucky, if you're rattling, there's a very, very good chance that if there's a buck around and he's the dominant one, he is going to come in. He's going to.
Doug said he's going to be rattling in the morning. Casey said he grunted soft grunts while rattling with the buck he killed. So Damon says while the moon is up in the daylight hours, when the moon is up in daylight hours, deer movement will be better in the day. And someone mentioned something about their sleep cycle. I've seen that a lot too. I just don't. I can't speak on it because I don't know. If Kyle Sands is on here, he could help us.
He said something.
I asked Kyle Sands to come on the show tonight, and I just remembered. Sorry, Kyle. I totally forgot about you.
He said something about moon phases. Yeah.
This person said, I'll get down there. This person said we only implement a snort wheeze when we actually see a buck and need him to commit. Yeah. Anecdotal evidence versus biological. This sounds like Kyle right here.
Yeah, this is what Kyle.
That's
okay.
Kyle.
Okay. Let's put a face with it. Anecdotal evidence versus biological research are two very different things, especially when it comes to moon phase and deer movement. I would go with what research says. So basically, Kyle says, don't go with what everyone else says. That's anecdotal. Go with the research. So I think the point is, and I think Damon and Kyle probably make the same point and both agree, just go hunt. Just go get out there.
Yep.
All right. Get out there when you can. My son killed a good buck in Fort Knox during youth hunt, and Josh said Josh Teeter hunted in the 40s last year at Fort Knox, never seen a deer. That's where I was headed. I was going to one of the 40s this weekend, Mike, and I checked the forecast today, and it said gun only. And I'm archery hunting, so I can't.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to the one that I told you, which is supposed to be good.
I talked about this last week. I've hunted in 40 and had an amazing time. We saw like 15 deer in one morning.
This one that I was going to was in the low 40s. And I have friends that have mentioned that, so I'm not going to say which one. Michael says, on days nearest full or new moons, bucks were more likely to be active during moon rise and moon set, and less likely to be active when the moon was overhead or underfoot. Okay. There you go. Scott said he's losing his spot. I don't know. Maybe his hunting spot? I hope not. Rob says hunting Madisonville, Dawson Springs area Saturday through Monday out in Western Kentucky. Looking forward to it. Go get them, Dawson. The key to rattling is doing soft enough to sound like two bucks sparring, but loud enough for them to hear it. Also, grinding your horns together is a great way to pull them in. Let's see. John has a question. That was not it. John has a question. What color light do y'all walk in? Oh, we've talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use a red light, a white light, a green light, a blue light? I just use the white light, and I usually turn it down as low as it'll go. And don't worry about it. But I don't have a red light. If I had a red light, maybe I'd use that.
I use a red lens just for the fact that, like ambient light, a red lens is not going to show up nearly as well
you said what kind of light?
Yeah, like ambient light or ambient. It's not as.
What do you mean? Can you explain that to us?
It's not as bright.
I'm just joking.
So, anyways, before smartass got in the way there. Anyways, a red lens isn't as bright. So if I'm 100 yards away and I've got a bright white light, you're going to see it in the dark. With the red lens, more than likely, if you do see it, it is going to be very, very, very dim. Red lens is the way to go.
I don't think it matters.
It does.
They're gonna see them both.
That's not necessarily true, because if you're being quiet and a deer's 100 yards away and he doesn't hear you and the wind is in your favor, that white lens, that bright white lens, he is going to see. It's super bright. You're literally, everything around you is going to be brightened up. They're going to see that through the woods. Where a red lens, it's not nearly as bright. They're not going to see it.
So what you're saying could be true, but I don't think it's a big enough difference to make a difference. So I think if you're using a red or white, they can see either.
See,
if you want to go undetected, you just don't use any.
See, and that's the thing, is like the argument can go either way. I think using a red lens makes a big difference, right? But I'm also the type of hunter that I honestly, when I walk into the woods, if I make some noise, I don't care. Especially walking through leaves, because deer make noise when they walk through leaves. So do raccoons, so do possums. I don't, as long as they don't see you or smell you, I think you're good. That making noise does not bother me.
Yeah. Michael says he just uses cell phone. That's usually what I do too. I use my cell phone. If I know where I'm going, I won't use light at all. But like at Fort Knox on Saturday, I have no idea where I'm going. I know what unit I'm going to, but I don't know. I'll go in there Friday and figure it out midday. We'll see. What I love to go in there, Mike, I love to go in there about, I got to take the girls to school first on Friday morning. So I'll probably get there about 9 o'clock. I love just to sneak in at 9, kill something at 11, come back home for the weekend. That would be ideal.
That would be helpful.
That's what I'm hoping.
When you got stuff going on, I
Does
get
it go that way? Probably not.
Probably
That'd be fun. How many people, Chris says, how many people have skunks follow them while walking in or out of the woods with your headlamp? That was a conversation at the deer camp table this evening. Never happened to me.
Knock on wood.
Mike, you ever had a skunk follow you?
No, I've walked up on them, just by happenstance, but luckily I'd seen them before they seen me. But yeah, I have walked up on them before, but they've never actually followed me.
Camera, but I've never seen them yet.
One time I was with a group of guys. We weren't hunting. We were camping, and there was a skunk, and we were kind of looking at it. We had a flashlight. It was albino. It was solid white.
Wow.
And we were looking at it, and it went, whoop, raise that tail. We've never run faster. Never run faster. Anyway, I forgot about that till just now. Kyle Sam said, I don't use a light unless I have to. Red or green, lens 100%. All right.
Yep.
You heard it here. Bright light. What about all those deer dead on highway, Josh? I just about hit one yesterday. Scared.
I don't. What do you mean? What about all of them dead on the highway? What do you mean? I don't understand.
Well, I mean, it's
that
like
bright light's not scaring them off, I guess.
Right.
They're running right.
Well,
they're running right. They're running right toward
I
the
would
light.
say. I would
Maybe
say
the light
if the
attracts
car. I would say if the car didn't run them off, the light definitely wasn't going to. The light had nothing to do with it.
I think he's saying they're attracted to the light. Chris may have a point. Here's the best thing. Like Damon says, just go in after daylight.
I know a few people that hunt that way.
I actually thought about that this weekend. I want to get y'all's opinion on it.
There's a lot of people that don't go into after daylight, and it doesn't seem to affect them.
I'm kind of curious on. I like being there when the world wakes up. I like to be there when the birds start chirping and everything starts moving. I really enjoy that. However, I have the way I'm going to be walking in specifically. There's a scrape. There's no way I can get around it. The deer, one time, 2 times, I've busted deer right at that scrape, and it was dark out, so I couldn't see them. So, do you think I should go in the dark, or should I go in so I can kind of scope out that scrape before or after, once it gets daylight, before I walk in? Because I've already got steps on the tree. I've already got my platform. All I have to do is get to the tree, climb up, and I'm in. So I'm curious, should I walk in the dark and take a chance on busting them? Or should I get, 200 yards out and really scope out that scrape before I start walking in?
Sure.
What do y'all think?
Option number 2. I just wait.
Doug
says Unit 17 is good also and easy to get in and out.
Bobcat's
I'm just dropping the knowledge. Bobcat's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's what I was told by someone who actually owns a record at Fort Knox. His words to me were, "Man, there's a Pope and Young around every corner."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm good. I don't need a Pope and Young. I just need one that's 12 inches wide. That's all I'm looking for.
Is it 12?
13,
Yep.
we'll say. 13 to be safe. That's all I'm looking for. The
I think
first
Campbell's,
buck,
somebody knows, correct me. I think Campbell's is, I think it's 15 inches.
it might be. Campbell don't have nearly the hunters that Fort Knox has.
Yeah, I can see that.
And Campbell seems to shut down in November every year. I don't know.
December 31st, I think, is the last day.
No, but they still shut down in November, like for training and stuff like that.
I don't think they shut down everything.
Or maybe only Army personnel can hunt. But I think the last 2 years,
they do a thing where once a certain amount of bucks are taken out of an area, they take it from gun to either doe only or bow only.
Kyle says go in early. Nothing better than being in your stand at least an hour before shooting light. I saw a guy on a podcast this week said that he's always in there 90 minutes. He's in his stand 90 minutes before daylight.
I'm with him on that, man. I'm with him on that.
I just don't like sitting there in the dark. I mean, I don't mind it. It's just like boring.
I enjoy it because it's. I texted you the other day, Mike. If I like to walk in really, really early, that way if I do bust something like I was talking about, because the woods gets wild, right? Like especially when you're walking in. At least in my head, I don't know what the deer are hearing 200 yards away, but when I'm moving, I'm hearing myself make all that noise. And then I get up in the tree, and I feel like that extra hour gives it time for the woods just to kind of calm down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the normal, your natural sounds, the birds, the squirrels. I really like that. I do. I feel like it gives everything time to just.
You're lying if you say you like those squirrels running around. You think it's a deer every time. Nobody likes that.
No, I'm not saying I do like it. I'm just saying I enjoy the natural sounds happening, rather than me walking in disrupting everything.
You use a drag rag walking?
Yep.
Mike, you do?
Yep.
This weekend,
sure
what should people be doing this weekend? What if you're hunting public and you can only really use a cover scent? What should you do? You're not supposed to drag. But what can you do what can you use as a cover scent? Know what I mean?
Just regular buck urine or doe urine.
What would you do, Mike?
Yeah, I'd probably just, camo dust and get after it. I don't really.
You wouldn't use any tinks or raw?
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I probably would just be using esters more than likely.
Yeah. So let's say you're not hunting public. What should people be doing this weekend with their scents? And then we'll look at some deer.
Some of the things I like to do is I've got elastic straps that I sewed.
Yep.
I just bought some really thick felt and I just hand sewed. I'm not a very good sewer, but I just hand sewed them to the elastic straps and I put them on my boots. Then I put the urine on that. I also put a scent drag. I made a scent drag out of paracord and an O-ring. I just folded the paracord up and snipped it and let the white part of the paracord stick out. So I dipped that in the pee, and then I've got a hook that I hooked to my belt loop. I drag that behind me, and then on the way in, I hang wicks on the way in every so often.
There you go.
It's all
You're ready. You're ready. Yeah. Yeah.
My truck, my clothes, and everything around me will smell like estrus come Saturday. Yep. It'll be everywhere because
I think Daniel has a good comment.
I'll have a drag rag behind me. I'll spray it everywhere. I'll be putting wicks up. I mean, I'm trying to get that smell out there. I'm trying to attract a big boy this weekend.
Daniel has a good comment. He says he knows several people who go in at first light. So if they do bump a deer, they at least have a chance to get a shot and don't just jump them and never know what it was or have no shot at it. So, especially during gun season, you hear a lot of people that might bump a buck, and they still get a shot at that buck maybe later in the day. Maybe it works its way back, or maybe they work their way back around. That happens quite often. So
yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Mark Lilly's here. I guess his feelings weren't hurt. Mark said, I like walking in before daylight, especially if I know other hunters are in the area. I want them running deer to me. I think that's very true.
Yeah, it happens often. That's for sure.
Justin likes to get in his stand and become one with the forest. Kyle says, so peaceful. Nothing remembers that you are there if you get in early. Bub says, in my stand 1 hour before legal shooting. Bub.
I'm the same way. That's the way I like it.
That's what I was looking for this past weekend on Knox, and had a 10, 11-inch wide 7-pointer come in after doe. Wasn't going to take that chance. Ooh, Jordan, you should have done it. Jordan, you could have been the example of what works and doesn't work, Jordan. You could have been that example. Jordan, are you going back? Is what I'm wondering, Jordan. Damon says, one of my stands I don't go into 8 over the years. Most of the travels between 9 and 12. And I think that's something too.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Josh told me this earlier, and I was going to mention it to him, and I didn't. Josh, you said that this weekend you're going to hunt, then go sight in your gun, and then go back and hunt. But a lot of deer are going to be killed right in the middle of that day, right in the middle of the day between now and Thanksgiving. So you're really leaving during the prime time.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't have a choice. That's the only time I have to sight my gun in. And there's no way Saturday I'm going in without my gun.
Oh, you do that on Friday, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Do you
so
think
Friday,
Mike would he be better just to sight his gun in Friday morning and then go in and stay instead of going in, leave, going back?
Maybe. Yeah,
Maybe,
it kind of depends on what you're seeing. I mean, if your camera activity's at a certain time, if you're not seeing anything super early, it kind of
I'm
seems
also really on the fence right now because I want to hunt all day Friday, but part of me, because I hunted Saturday, Sunday, I almost just want to leave it alone all the way through Friday, and then Saturday get in there so I don't disrupt anything Friday.
Frankly, that's what I would do.
You know, just because Friday, if a big boy comes out, he's dead. It's happening. Or Saturday, I'm sorry. Friday, I kind of want to just.
Hey, I've got something that's totally off topic. Yeah. John Gray here. John Gray says Fox P is a great cover stand. What happened to that feller?
Yeah, Red Fox P.
Remember that guy? He always, every freaking week, he'd be on here talking about Red Fox P, and we had a lot of fun with him. What was that guy's name?
My buddy from Alabama.
Yeah.
Anybody remember that feller? Some of you guys have been watching for 2 or 3 years now. You remember the feller that was from Alabama? Hey, speaking of which, Gordy's not on here tonight. He's always on here. He's from Ohio.
I think he's camping.
Oh, yeah, he is. He's hunting. So, yeah, that guy always said Red Fox P, and we laughed. And he was, I mean, it don't matter what we was talking about. He'd bring that up. I love that guy.
Chris,
all right, WO is on here. WO says, I like to go in before daylight, get settled in, and then get my thermos out, drink a hot cup of coffee. See, when I go in, I don't like to get all my crap out. I don't like to eat snacks. I don't like to drink water. I just want to stand there and hunt or take a nap. If I go in an hour early, I'm going to sleep.
That nap is happening with John.
It is the non-negotiable.
Yeah.
So while we have WO here, WO sent me, I showed his picture a while ago, and he sent me this because this is the deer that he killed this week. And he wants everyone to put their score on it. So this is the buck that WO put on the ground. Very nice buck. You know, it's got some 1, 2, maybe. Is it maybe a 10-pointer, maybe 11? I don't know. What do you guys score WO's buck right there?
I can't score it because he already told me.
Oh, he does know the score? Okay.
Yeah, I know the score.
I'm gonna go 162 and a quarter.
162 and a quarter. So you're saying in 2/8?
Yeah.
162 and 2/8.
He scored it himself.
Okay, I was gonna say, don't tell us.
I'm not. I'll tell you afterwards.
No, hey, look, some of y'all are saying 140s, 150s. We need a specific score. All right, specific score. What can we give away? The person that gets the closest with the specific score, I've got a free Onyx membership I can send you. And I'll send it through a message. You'll get it as soon as we get off here. The specific score, free Onyx Elite membership, $99 value. If you were at deer camp or I've already sent you one, then we'll figure something else out. Hopefully he's not. Hopefully he didn't comment it.
Oh yeah, I seen Brian. Brian, what's up, brother? It's been a while since we've talked.
Who's
We're gonna
Brian?
have to catch up, man.
Where's Brian? Who's
Brian
Brian?
Owens.
Oh. Okay, we got a lot of scores.
You're hunting this weekend. Hope you get one, man.
Yeah, that's a super nice buck, man.
Isn't it?
Super
Oh,
nice.
it is an 11-pointer. Okay, maybe that'll help you. All right, we're going to go 10 more seconds. Get your scores in. Get your scores in. Get your scores in.
That deer's really wide, man.
Frankie. Oh, that's not Frankie. Frankie. Look at that. Everybody's wanting an Onyx card. All right, before we tell the score, Scott says a family member gave 5 guys permission to hunt the 30 acres. It wasn't his to give. I'm the only one that has permission. They got the place all jacked up. Man, that sucks, Scott. That sucks.
Go in early, Scott. Be the
All right,
first one there.
WO, post the score, WO. Comment with the score.
I won't say I'll let him post it, but I think you're all going to be very surprised.
Comment with the score, and then we'll go with the closest, the closest, and if there's more than one person with that score, then we'll go with who said it first. We're waiting, WO.
I'm excited.
Drum roll, please. I'm guessing it's much lower than what everybody said.
Yeah.
135 and 3/4. So let's go back up. 135 and 3/4. Oh, this person said 135, but they didn't put their name.
Uh-oh.
That was like that was the second guess, 135.
It's a great deer. I know that.
Yes, it is. It's
I would
amazing.
never guess 135 because that is a big deer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was by far the closest. Reveal yourself. Who said 135? All I gotta do is go back and look. All right, they said that's me, but you still didn't say your name. Oh, hold on.
How wide was that deer, WO?
Maybe Scott Perkins said it. What'd you say, Mike?
I was asking WO how wide that deer was. It looks like it's over 20 for sure. Wow, 17. It must be the angle. It must be the angle of that picture. He looks really now. His other ear is pinned back, so maybe that's fooling me a little bit. It looked wider to me.
It does.
17 and a 1/4 inch inside, but there's not much mass. There you go, Scott Perkins. Congratulations. Shoot me a message, and I'll send you. All I gotta do is send you a picture. Scott, we can see you. So you're in the Facebook group instead of the page. If you're in the group, then it doesn't show your name. It just shows that you're a user. Who scored it? The guy who killed it. WO scored it.
Yeah.
So there you go. Well, it's
green
an
score.
135.
Green score, as they'd say.
Huh?
The green score, as they'd say.
Yeah. There you go. All right.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm really excited. I can't wait to. Because I could do that regiment in the morning. I'll get out there really early. I put out I've even got I forget what it's called, but it's called a pea pod. Josh, I don't know if you've ever seen this. A long time ago, and before all these like aroma, like the stuff that you can actually start and it smokes with the pea and stuff like that, the wicks. So they used to have this little pea pod. It's a little thing, and you put the pea in this little hole right in the center of it. And you actually break open hot hands and you put the hot hands inside the little box, and it keeps the pea warm. So it kind of emits because it's warm, it's emitting smell a little bit. I've even got one of those. Sometimes I put that out.
Dude, there's something about Saturday morning. I don't know what it is, but the air just smells different.
Mike, tell us about this guy right here.
Yeah, this is my buddy Matt Beers. Matt is from Georgia. He started learning to hunt a long time ago when he was living in Georgia, and Matt is a pastor. So he actually ended up coming to our church in Northern Kentucky as an associate pastor for 4 or 5 years, and then he got called to serve in Iowa. So he's a pastor at a church in Poesta. I believe that's how you pronounce that area of
So
Iowa.
he is a resident of Iowa, so he gets to hunt every year.
Yeah, he does, and he actually jumps up to Wisconsin and hunts up there as well. He lives really close, probably 30 to 45 minutes from Wisconsin. But he hunted this morning, and that deer came in around 8 o'clock. He made a shot, and he just wasn't sure. It all happened so fast, and he found blood, but he didn't really see the signs that was making him feel like he didn't hear the deer fall. So he was a little bit nervous, and he backed out and gave it time. He literally gave it all day today. So he went home, was biting his nails and nerves and all this other stuff. Went back in around 4:30, and they got on blood, but it took a while to really get on it. They came up on 3 or 4 different beds that had blood in it. And eventually they found him tonight. So they recovered the deer this evening. Really proud of him. And when he came to Kentucky, he started learning more about archery, and he started getting archery equipment. He and I would work together and shoot our bows together some. And we'd talk about hunting, and, I helped him, learn some things about getting after archery and things. And because of Georgia, a lot of times I think he would gun hunt down there. But so he started learning a little bit about bow hunting, and he picked it up, and man, he hasn't looked back, and it's cool to see. I was so happy for him, because I know today was probably nerve-wracking.
Good for him, man. Good for him. This is Casey Sparks that was on here. I don't know if Casey's still on here. He's doing his best Luke Combs impression there. Kind of has a little Luke Combs look with that beard.
Yeah, that's a nice deer.
Yep, that's maybe a Greenup County buck, I think. I think that's where he lives, Greenup County. And then let's see who else sent one here. Oh, Scott Perkins, the guy who just won the Onyx card. Let's see, he sent one in and killed last Thursday. It's a good looking buck.
He said, "Yeah, it was Greenup."
Yeah.
W.O. His name was Matt Beers. His name is Matt Beers, and he's a pastor up in Poesta, Iowa. I believe it's Crossroads, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that.
Scott won a free Onyx membership tonight, and look at that. It's a good little buck he killed right there, too. Oh,
that's a real nice buck.
Look, his he's like nodding yes if I do that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Love it. That's a nice deer, man.
Anyway, yeah.
Love it.
I think we had one more. Maybe. My phone just went off again. Of course, Bub is sending one. Let's see here. Bub, ain't you? Bub must be sending one of his buddy here. Let's see. This is good. I like this buck right here. I love how his antlers circle around right there.
Oh yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know if this guy killed it in Ohio or Kentucky. But I remember Bub posting that. That's a really good buck.
Yeah, it's good mass, good tine length, good width.
Yeah, I like that. I like bucks that look like that. Let's see. I had another one. I got one more. Hold on. I think Mark Lilly sent one.
These raccoons will not stay out of my corn. I got to do some trapping.
Yep. Dog proof.
Yeah, deer. Oh, yeah, deer never broke his heart. I was like, what was he talking about with that song, Luke Combs song? Yeah. Deer will break your heart, though, is the thing. Ice cold beer might not, but a deer will.
They have mine all season.
Oh, man, this picture. Let me see if I can make this larger. Mark sent a picture of a new buck he got on camera, but I don't, for some reason, it won't. It's hard to see. It looks like he's been fighting, but it won't blow up for me for some reason. Let's see here. Owen County. Oh, Scott. Is that Scott saying Owen County buck, Mike? There's you a good Owen County feller to right there.
Oh yeah, that's a nice one.
That's a really nice buck. Yeah, that's not. I don't think this is the Owen County buck. I think Scott Perkins said he killed that buck in Owen County. That was the last picture.
Yeah,
and we've talked about Owen County a lot.
Yeah. I hunt in Owen County. I'll probably be in Owen County a little bit next week at some point.
Yeah,
got him in the Sparta area.
Now here's one. I don't know if Bobby is on here. Bobby Ball is a guy that we met at Rich W. May. He and his sons come down and hunt every year, opening weekend, and his boy killed a nice one.
That is a dandy.
That's an Ohio buck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 corner, maybe 13. Heck of a buck right there. Heck of a deer. It's not acting right. So anyway, a lot of good deer being killed and a lot of fun being had. And we still got, I'd say 2 weeks of it really being on fire before it starts dwindling back down.
I'd say by the second weekend of gun season, that's when it'll start. It's when it starts for me. I'm gonna be honest with you.
That would be so we got about 16 days, 16, 17 days of good
Yeah, it really starts when we get to the point of the second weekend of gun season. It gets rough around where we're at.
I think
that
cold front hitting this weekend is going to be money.
It will. Yep.
This weekend is going to be money.
Or you could be like Kyle Sands and look at the research that the cold front doesn't affect deer movement.
Yeah, I think it does, but whatever. Who am I?
I do got a couple more real quick. Jordan Friend sent this one in. This one you could tell is a nice buck. It's kind of hard to see because the tree behind it. That's a good one right there. That's a really nice buck. It's just hard.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
Yeah, he's tall.
That's because of the tree right there.
Yeah.
And then let's see, who was the other? Oh, I'm sorry, that was James Dixon. This one is Jordan. Jordan, this is a great photo. It's kind of like a professional. Who took that? Jordan's got his wife out there taking professional photos. Look at that. That's a good picture. This don't have brown tines. Got a little nub right there.
That's a nice buck, man.
Good one.
Yeah. The color, great color.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty.
Look at that phantom saddle, too.
Love it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how it'll go shooting the gun out of the saddle this weekend.
It'll be fun.
Yep, it'll go real well, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, it is. Boom.
All right, fellas. Oh, that's not Jordan. That's his friend. That was his friend. Yeah, sorry, Jordan. Your friend took a good picture. Well, listen, we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. It's been over an hour. We've been going like an hour, 15 minutes, hour and a half every week, and we got 34 people right now, but we were up in the 60s. So continue to join us. Continue to tell your friends, share it on your page, like, comment, and all that good stuff. And look, it's prime time. And we hope that you guys kill your target bucks and then reach out and send us pictures. We'll share them on Tuesday night. We'll share them on our page. We've shared a lot of good ones lately. The page is growing. We're about to 78,000 followers. I'd like to get to at least 90 by the new year. So any sharing you guys can do, we greatly appreciate. Mike, Josh, thanks for being here. Hopefully next Tuesday I've got a Fort Knox buck, and you guys have killed bucks on your places, and we got a lot to talk about. If not, we'll talk about everybody else's.
That's exactly right.
All right, have a good week, fellas. We appreciate you.
See you guys.
See ya.